Hey folks, what's up? Look, it's winter time, it's cold. You know it, I know it. I got my hat on. That's how you know it's cold. Actually, I usually have a hat on just because I enjoy hats. But it's that time of year where I just like to chill, relax, read on the couch, tea, obviously, and just let everything else go away. So this is one of my favorite episodes I love to do. Comfort read. So folks, get cozy, put on your warm sweater, your robe, whatever it is, get a hot cup of something, and I'm going to talk to you about some of my favorite just comfort reads and just relax and chilling. Sound good? Are you ready? Let's do it. Hey folks, what's up? And welcome to the Hungry Bleak Show. I am Antonio Pomadas, aka the Hungry Bleak. Being presented to you here on the Hungry Bleak channel. Also, yes, hungriest man in the room. Take that however you like. And that's all I got to say. So today we're having a chill day here. This is pre-recorded because some of my live shows I have just been so tired because I'm up at like 2:30 on a Friday, and then during the course of the entire day of working, probably grocery shopping, doing some caregiving duties. By the end of the day, I am just drained, tired, done, kaput. On top of that, just being a human being, being a black man in America, and having, personal life and friends and such like that, speaking to them, texting. I am drained by the end of the day. And then when I speak to you live, which I love speaking to you live because it feels so much more intimate because I get to interact, I am yawning unbelievably. Not that I don't yawn during the course of the day, but because I feel one coming on now, but it's still early in the day. It's just that I'm so tired. And I apologize and I hate that. So I think I'm gonna start doing some pre-recorded shows just because I want you to feel like I'm here and I'm more present. Cool? Cool. Okay, so look, we're gonna talk about getting cozy. I want you to get cozy, get relaxed. Like I said, get a hot cup of something. Y'all know I got my tea, black sci-fi mug, obviously. If you know, well, you really should know, truthfully. And let's talk about some comfort reads. Now, this is the perfect time of year. It's cold outside. I'm not taking as many walks. Um, it's just I'm in Jersey, and it's just getting colder and colder and colder. And I'm like, you know what? At a certain point, I'm staying my ass indoors. So what do I do? Besides gaming and watching movies and cooking and eating, what have you, I am reading. Obviously, I'm reading. I'm reading. Falling asleep, waking up, reading again. There's a lot to read. So let's check out some of my stuff. Now I'm going to show you my libraries. Okay. I'm going to show you in particular, I'm going to show you my library for Global Comics, which you're welcome, Global Comics, for your new ad campaign of saying that Global Comics is like the Netflix of digital comic book reading. Just something I've said numerous times. I've likened it to a streaming platform. You're welcome once again. Crazy. So I'm going to show you my library for Global Comics and for Amazon because those are my two largest libraries. And I think that it just kind of shows my eclectic taste with everything. So first up is I'm going to show you is excuse me, my Global Comics. The Global Comics, there's a lot of stuff on here, what have you, but something that I have really been wanting to get back into reading. I started actually reading the first issue again and going through since they redid the series as well. Is something called I Hate Fairyland. I Hate Fairyland is great. Scotty Young, very darkly humorous comic, which is beautiful and right up my alley. Huge fan of Scotty Young's art and such. So basically, what Fairyland is there's a young girl named Gert, and Gert wishes to be in Fairyland, goes there and then can't get out because you have to do certain things in order to get out. So Gert stays there for decades. So Gert is now, I want to say, a middle-aged woman, but still in the body of this, I want to say maybe about 7 or 8-year-old girl. Mind of a middle-aged woman who's been stuck here all these years, never really had any type of adult um, supervision or adult interaction, has just a complete mess of a person and is wreaking havoc on Fairyland. This went for, I want to say, 4 volumes, maybe the original run. Then it came back a couple of years ago, and I want to get into that run as well. So I'm going to reread the original run and then go into this, and then go into the more recent run. But this is such a funny series. Again, Scotty Young just knows how to hit a certain button with me, whether it's a story like this or even another one which is great, which is The Me You Love in the Dark, which is this very um I'm not sure how to describe it. It's a story about a haunting that turns into an abusive love story. It's very odd, and I love that there's really no explanation for it. The story stands as what it is. Sometimes you don't really need a huge explanation, but anyway, this one is great because of the amount of just cartoonish violence. Like I said, darkly humorous, and you really do want Gert to get out of there, but you also realize, can she survive in the real world, in like in our world, I should say. At a certain point, they actually talk about, well, with the amount of candy and everything that you've eaten here, if you go back there, you're going to be obese, diabetic, everything. She's like, oh, I don't know. Oh, well, then maybe I don't know if I want to go back. And it just becomes this way of everyone wants her out of there, but they also want to kill her because she is a menace to the entire realm of Fairyland. It's so, as you can see, yeah, that is Gert. They are our young middle-aged. I don't know if you can even say that, protagonist. Just from this picture alone, you can tell Gert is about to get all up in it, and it's just going to be madness. Hilariously funny, like I said, and it's just warm and everything. You don't have to have it's not something that you have a really deep thinking about or anything. You're just wondering, what the hell is Gert going to do next? It's just the most increasingly unhinged stuff possible. And we see her in the beginning. She wishes to go to Fairyland. She goes. It turns out horrible to begin with because she's got this huge fault. Then she's introduced. Hi, welcome to Fairyland. She's given a companion who is a housefly. Sorry, I'm just reading it, and it just becomes more increasingly. It just becomes more increasingly unhinged with each issue, and it just becomes so great. And Gert, being this middle-aged woman in this body, and she wants to curse, she curses, but when she curses, it comes out as fluff, like literally the word fluff. So she can't say really any of our more grown-up, our seven deadly words, the 7 words that Carlin taught us. I absolutely love this comic. Like I said, it's just ridiculously fun. And no matter what, you can see her talking to the moon. She kills Mr. Moon. This is Gert in a nutshell. She's just unhinged. So if you have the chance, I really recommend going and checking out I Hate Fairyland. It's, like I said, it's one of my comfort reads for forever and a day, I swear. And I can't wait to really get deeper into the new series that has been there. Like I said, started maybe a couple years ago, I want to say. But it's just unbelievable. It's just the most horrible thing possible. Another one that is a really great comfort read for me, which is probably going to seem odd, but I like a lot of different things. I mean, honestly, another one for me is 100 Bullets. 100 Bullets is one of my favorite noir type stories, I guess is the way to say it. And I've talked about this one before. Basically, the gist is, let's say you get out of jail, you've been convicted of a crime you did not commit. No one believes you. There's no evidence that can exonerate you. This man comes up to you and says, hey, I have evidence, irrefutable evidence that this happened. You are innocent. This person framed you for this reason, what have you. This is what I'm going to give you. Here's a briefcase. It has all the evidence and information that you need to exonerate yourself and put that other person in jail. There's also a gun in here with 100 rounds, untraceable. If by some chance you do take revenge on this person or any other person or what have you, If any law enforcement organization finds one of these rounds, they will completely dismiss what happened. Everything will go away. It does not matter. So what do you do with that? What's the choice? Do you just take reckless abandon and go fully unhinged revenge? Or do you take the evidence, have the other person put in jail, and have yourself exonerated? What do you do in that situation? It's one of the most interesting comics I could ever possibly read. I remember this is one of the first comics that I read that wasn't a superhero, superpower type comic. And I read it on a flight to Illinois. No. Flight to Missouri. I don't remember if it was Missouri or Illinois, but it was cold as hell. And I got it, and I was absolutely blown away, no pun intended, by this incredible storytelling. It's just, and it starts out as almost like an anthology, but then you realize there's a story there about this group of individuals called the Minutemen, who are like checks and balances for these crime families, and it goes from there. There's a spin-off series as well, I want to say, called Brother Lono, who's one of the characters in the book. Absolutely amazing, like neo-noir, smartly written, great dialogue. The art just captures the entire feel. This is like, and I don't want to use this person as a comparison, but this is like my Sin City. This is my Sin City. As I know at one point Sin City was seen as that book, and it definitely was for the time, but this is beautiful. The fact that we have not gotten this as a series or a movie is ridiculous. I don't understand how that is possible, but it's one of those things that always gets me thinking, and I think about it every day. Like, what would you do? I think about the comic every day, the different scenes, the characters, which they're just become this plethora of characters that you cannot get away from, and you wouldn't want to, truthfully. It's just extremely beautiful, and I love it. It's just one of my fun ones. So let's see another one from my list here. I was about to show you that one, but I'm not going to. This is Bleed Them Dry. It's a great one. This is from Vault Comics. Basically, this is a story. It's set in the future. Vampires are real. They're around us. They live in society. But there's also this murder that happens, and it's possibly done by a vampire. So we have a detective who has to figure out what's going on with this crime. But meanwhile, there's someone else in the shadows lurking to see what's going on with this crime as well and who did it. The art is actually, I'm a huge fan of of Vault Comics. I love their stuff. This is one of my favorites. Barbaric is another one, which I'll probably talk about in a couple minutes. This one was just, unfortunately, it's only one volume, but it's billed as a ninja vampire tale. But there's also like a kind of a little bit of a romance kind of aspect to it as well, which I really dig. It has a beautiful fluidity with the art from Daike Ruin. I hope I'm pronouncing your name properly. And Elliot Raoul did a great job with writing. The story just comes together, and lettering is and world. Every time and world is part of something, I know it's going to be a dope comic, and this is dope. In this future city, like I said, where we have humans and vampires working together, living together, just look at the landscape and the sprawling lights. Everything gives you this big, just guys, it's beautiful. It's just absolutely beautiful. I absolutely love it. You can see the action. It's dynamic. There's a lot of swords and guns and vampires. Everything up my alley. It's perfect as a comfort read for me, and it just makes me. I just want. I wish there were at least 2 more volumes. I wish. Maybe at some point. I don't know. But right now we don't get it. But that's another one that always hits me right in the feels, and it feels just so good. This is one that I'm absolutely enamored by, which is Rocket Girl. Rocket Girl was one I'm reading years ago, and I was like, oh wow, this is really cool. And it was always so awesome. Basically, it's a story of time travel. This young girl goes back in time, but in her future, all like adolescents and teenagers, they have adult jobs. So she's a cop in her future. And she's sent back in time. It's just, oh God. Amy Reeder has this incredible way of her art. She's the first person I remember looking at her art and saying that it was kinetic, because I could see the movement with Rocket Girl as she's flying through. I believe it was 1980s New York, I want to say. And if you remember 1980s New York, then you remember a lot, especially Times Square. Yeah, this is from writer Brandon Montclair, and artist is Amy Reeder. Absolutely beautiful. It's just, Amy has a way with art that is just, it's like alchemy, sorcery, and just beauty. It's captivating, absolutely captivating, and I love it. I normally don't like time travel, but this was time travel that was done right and done in a fun way. And there were 2 volumes that are out, and I love the fact again that in her future, teens and adolescents are like the grown-ups. They're the cops and everything, and she's like, a rookie cop, not rookie, excuse me, but like like a maverick cop. How we have to have like the maverick cop, and then you have to have the chief is like, that's gonna be your badge, damn it, don't you do it, it's gonna cost you the badge, the city can't handle this. Those scenes. Yeah, you get that in here. It's so you can see from the future, like I said, they're cop, like the person in the trench coat, that's her CO, her commanding officer. It's just, yeah, there's something about a comfort read that at a certain point I can't even speak about it. They just make me go, yeah, let me just go and read this right now. This is why my list is so, this is why my comfort read pile is so high, because of comics like Rocket Girl, which just upsets me. I mean, not upsets me, but I'm like, oh my God, there's so many great comics out there to read, and they all just make my head hurt because of how much I love reading them. Another one is The Marked. The Marked was one that really caught me off guard because of the beauty of the art and everything. It was amazing. So the Marked is about like this battle between these 2 factions, and how the art that they have, the tattoos, they can use as actual weapons and use with magic. I absolutely loved the dark aspect of the art. I love heavy lines for some reason. I love heavy lines. Don't know why, but it was also the art and the tattoos that spoke to me. How they kind of jumped off of the page. You can see the variants in all were just beautiful and just painstakingly done with the detail. Because if you're going to do tattoos, you have to not only always have them match and make sense in every scene you have the person in, no matter what, but they also have to be done so well. You don't want to have you don't want to have comic book characters or cartoon characters, any animated characters, with bad tattoos. We see enough of that in real life. We do not want to see that in comics, unless it's part of the character, and their tattoos were just horrible, what have you. But we meet this young girl, and she finds out that she's one of the Marked. And it's one of those stories where you go into it and you start finding out more backstory like that, and they recruit. So they're like, oh, well, what does this picture look like? And they ask you, and whatever that picture actually looks like is what will end up being on your skin when you are marked. Beautifully done. Absolutely incredible art. Story is phenomenal. There was, I believe, a follow-up issue to the original run of the series maybe a year or so ago. I haven't gotten to read it yet because I wanted to reread the series, because I think it was maybe a few years in between. So I always like to go back and refresh my mind. Just like if I'm watching something, I want to, and there's a new season or there's a movie that comes out that's a part of it, I always want to go back and rewatch so I can familiarize myself with it, because it's hard sometimes. It's hard going through that. It is. So yeah, so The Marked is another one that absolutely beautiful. Love it. If you have the chance to go read it, please do. Like I said, you can go on Global Comics. You can get a membership. Some comics are free. Some you have to pay for. Some are under like a paywall. They also have the option where you can uh, buy the comics as well, but then you can also stream them as if it's Netflix. You're welcome again, Global Comics. Yeah, it's like a streaming service for comics. You can even do that as well. Certain companies like DC, Marvel, and Dark Horse, you have to buy their comics. Even if you have the membership, you still have to buy them to read them. But it'll always let you know if it's one that's available to read for everyone, if you have to have the membership, or if you have to, or if the membership will just be a discount on the comic and you have to read it. But yeah, the Mark is another one. So let's go to my Kindle list. Now, my Kindle is ridiculous because this is what I've been using for Comixology, which is now part of Amazon. This is the one that I've had the most of because I've been using Comixology. I just bit my tongue. You saw that, right? I just bit the hell out of my tongue and it hurt like hell. Comixology is the one I've been using for the longest when I started getting into reading digital comics. So I have the most comics on here. But like I said, I'm trying to venture forth, which is why I'm excited about Global Comics and why I'm excited about Neo Ichiban. I want to go into other fields for as far as like digital platforms for comics. But here's some of what I've got in my library. This even shows you novels like In the Garden of Light and Shadow. Part 2 came out recently, which is great, which is a follow-up to In the Garden of Light and Shadow 1. I think that was actually kind of self-explanatory. I didn't have to tell you that, did I? I did not. So something I've started reading, which I can see is going to become a comfort read for me, is Miles Morales, Cody Ziegler's run. Absolutely loving it. I started reading it because I wanted to read more of Miles Morales, because I love the character, but also because of Grim Freaker, who is someone who I used to watch streaming. I wish she would get back into streaming, but I understand why. Life takes over, things happen. But she was one of my favorite streamers. She was one of the first people I started watching streaming before it became what it is. And I was told that this series is so good art-wise and story-wise. You see Miles Morales dealing with anxiety and depression and it affecting his powers and how he's superheroes. To see a young Black Afro-Latino character going through that hit me very hard, being a young Afro-Latino, Afro-Latinx person when I was his age and going through it, and I didn't know what was wrong. I didn't know what was wrong with me. And all through my 20s, dealing with it, not knowing what was wrong, then figuring out or being told, no, this is what's wrong with you. And then me figuring out how to deal with that, how to go through that is crazy. But this one absolutely is just an absolute beautiful comic. Let's go to the. I always loved Miles's design, how his clothing and such as well. I've always loved. The art from Federico Vincentini is absolutely breathtaking. Brian Valenza, the coloring is just astounding. I absolutely love. This seems like the perfect art for me, for Miles Morales. Now, I didn't read too much of the Michael Bendis, Sarah Pichelli, I want to say, art, but I know that book was phenomenal. That's obviously like where it started. But this one hits me so much and so dearly. So yeah, I'm a huge fan of this. Obviously, Miles Morales, Spider-Man is my Spider-Man. I grew up with Parker, but Miles is mine just because we identify as similar as far as like our background, and just the thing he goes through with and being able to have a character like that again with the depression and with the anxiety and still having to do the everyday things you have to do is phenomenal. So I absolutely had a great time with it, and I love seeing him, a young hero, going through love, trials, and tribulations, with a beautiful family who knows he's Spider-Man and dealing with that as well, and having his mother always be worried about him and his father, and having a baby sister. I love that whole dynamic. There's a lot on him, and I think it's cool to have a lot on him in that way, where with Peter it was obviously bills, everything, which can be a lot, and Aunt May and him having to deal with all that. I love this one because this feels like a more modern take, and obviously it just hits home to have a character with a beautiful family, and he has a full support system with his best friend Genki and everything too. But then still being it, you can have the world and still have these things hit you. So yeah, for me, this is just, yeah, this is great. So I'm really getting into this. I'm in the first volume, but I know this is going to be a comfort read for me. I think I have 4 or 5 volumes of it. Another one that's a comfort read for me, and I'm obviously, as you can see, I'm trying to get back into it because it was an awesome series, is We Only Find Them When They're Dead. This is from Boom. This is Al Ewing and Simone Demio, who I'm absolutely enamored by the art from Simone. This is a story of like, how would I even, in space, every so often these bodies will show up, huge bodies, and these are the people who go out and get them. They're salvagers. Like how the 49ers were with gold, and they would stake their claims. This is what they do. They're kind of 49ers, and they stake their claims on the body. But it turns out that these bodies are gods. And what they do is they go and they'll say, "Oh, I want the left arm, and it's this quadrant, this space," and they'll take the meat, the bone, the every bit of it, and they'll sell it. The flesh, the bone, the cartilage, the bone marrow, whatever it is, because they'll sell it because they'll be able to do different things. That to me knocked me the hell out. I was like, okay, so it's kind of a space opera, but then you've got like the aspect of, these conflicting factions and such. You jump my claim. No, this was mine. Absolutely, yes. Yes, 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 yes. And Simone, Al Ewing obviously is just a monster as far as writing. But it just does something with art. It's so atmospheric and beautiful, and it takes you away from everything. It almost overpowers whatever dialogue is on the page, which like this is what I'm saying. Almost very sparse dialogue, which is necessary in a scene like this. But look at that. The gods are always beautiful and the gods are always dead. You only see the gods when they die. So what they do is they start going after the different parts. Somebody will get a cheek, and they start cutting away different parts and taking them onto the ships. And you see what happens when you get pirates, when you start getting hijacked, when people start jumping claims. Yeah, this, Jesus, yes, 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 yes. So We Only Find Them When They're Dead. Boom. Go find, no, that wasn't me. So Boom Studios, excuse me. Boom Studios, go and check it out, please. Yes. I've also been feeling old school. So that's why I have Wetworks up here, which is an old Wildstorm, but Wildstorm, I believe, now is owned by DC or the rights, what have you. Wildstorm is, excuse me, Wetworks is one of those old comics from like the 90s when I was in high school, or maybe just out of high school, I think. I might have been just out of high school, or maybe junior, something like that. This goes back to like Team 7, Spawn, Backlash, like all these characters when they were in that same universe. They were a group of like Black Ops. They were a SEAL team, I want to say, like Black Ops, Team 7 type stuff. They go and they're looking to they're on a mission. Long story short, they end up getting this symbiote on them, which is like this armor that protects them, and they use it to end up hunting monsters like vampires, werewolves, such like that. It's one of the most underrated of the Wildstorm titles, but also one that definitely needs to be talked about. This could easily be a series. The fact that DC hasn't tried to do anything with their old Wildstorm stuff is what is weird to me. I don't know why, because between this Wildcats, like I said, I mean the character Grifter alone. The only thing I know is Grifter. I know, excuse me, Wildcats was an animated series at one point. They did bring back Wildcats for a very small stint. I think it was maybe 10 or 12 issues. I can't remember. But that's a property right there that you could do a lot with, honestly. And I think it would be interesting to do that as the darker side of DC. Not that DC isn't somewhat dark to begin with, as far as like what they're doing on animated TV and movies. I think using Wildstorm, unless there's a legal reason why they can't, I think the fact that they haven't is crazy. But I've been wanting to go back and read these, because this is one that I didn't really get to read when it came out originally. And I started reading, I was like, oh, okay, cool. This Stormwatch, Team 7, all those comics were just so crazy and fun, and they were perfectly 90s in exposition, in pockets, in style, everything. So I'd love to see them do this with a more up-to-date take on it, and just going into it. As you can see that, yeah, so it's gonna be almost looks like it's gold on their skin, and they start going at it and realizing that it protects them, it makes them stronger, makes them better. Yes, any symbiote in comic book world is gonna make you better. It's gonna make you stronger. It's gonna make you better somehow. This Venom, like it doesn't, yeah, it doesn't really matter. Which is funny to me. I don't know why, but it is funny to me. Excuse me. Another one that is a comfort read for me, and this is the last one for the day, is Blade. This is Brian E. Hill's Blade with Casa Grande, who is one of my favorite artists. I have to check to see if she storyboards for movies. If she doesn't, they should hire her to do it because she's phenomenal with it. So this is Hill's Blade. The thing I loved about this Blade is that, and he said when I got to interview him, oh my God, is that he said, well, there's no budget. So, and we don't have to worry about stuntmen. So if the artist is cool with doing this and this, and they are into it, I'm going to do it. I want to make it fun for them, but I also want to make it fun for the viewers, because we can do anything. There's a point where Blade actually jumps at a helicopter. You driving a car, an expensive car, through a wall to kill these vampires with UV headlights. What? Get at me. Yes. This was a rollicking great time. I wish it had gone on longer. I know there was a series after this that Hill was also writing, but it wasn't available digitally. It was only in print, and it was like a red label type of book because it was more violent. This comic had me on floor done. I bought, I think, 4 variants of this one. I didn't get the Frank Miller one for obvious reasons. That is what it is. But I absolutely love this series because it was action-packed. You got to see a romantic kind of cool side to Blade. And you got to see him interact with certain characters in MCU. Like there's an issue where Stephen Strange goes. There's even an issue where it's almost like where it's like a gauntlet through a train for a heist, a battle gauntlet. Absolutely had a fun time with this one. Yes, this is just so much fun. God, I love this book. Oh, God. Yeah, so those are just some of the books that I enjoy and that are comfort reads for me. What's a comfort read for you? Let me know. Yeah, I know that was just a show, just me talking about the comics I like, but sometimes I have to pull myself back into it and remember why I enjoy the comics, why I enjoy reading them, what makes me feel good about reading them, and not just think about the hard aspect of a story or bringing you news or talking about like that. Sometimes I have to pull myself back and go, yeah, this was fun. This I like. This is really cool. This one looks amazing. And there are so many comics like that now, you know. Speaking of Brian Hill, Black Panther. Latest issue of Black Panther came out today, which I am going to be reading later on, because this is Black Panther number 23. It's been so much fun and so great. And again, there's no budget. There's no special effects. You don't have to worry about stunt people, what have you. You can do whatever you want. And he has one of the best panels ever where Black Panther comes out doing this like missile drop kick, telling somebody, yelling at the dude, calling him colonizer. Abso-freaking-lutely, you damn right. So yes, just awesome stuff. Actually, Brian E. Hill might be like just a comfort read list unto himself, truthfully. Just awesome stuff. Matter of fact, yeah, I got to go do some of my stuff and check out. I'm sure I have. If we look now, yeah, because I've got like Black Panther, obviously Batman and the Outsiders, Blade, Midnight Suns. It's a lot of Blade there. Killmonger. I forgot he wrote Killmonger. Yes. Oh God. Yes. Michael Cray. The Wildstorm stuff. Oh my God. Yes. Absolutely yes. Well, wait, Bonehead was his? Romulus, which is amazing as well. Romulus is a great one. Yeah, I got some stuff to read. I definitely got some stuff to read. Romulus was great about just this warrior group of women who throughout centuries have killed some like very nefarious groups. Um, and they talk about them going after Nazis as well. Women of color going after and killing Nazis like assassins. Absolutely, I'm into it. Give me that book. This is just some of Romulus. It was only 4 issues, though, unfortunately. Um, God, I forgot about. Jeez, yes. So yeah, so that's why. Let me just close this window because I'll just start looking at these comics again. Yeah, so that's why I get into it, because it reminds me of what's fun. Because sometimes when you get so into it and you're reading comics just so you can talk about them, you stop having fun. I have to remind myself every so often, this is fun. And I have to show you what I find to be fun. Um, Comics that I just like to read, and yeah, there. So, folks, on that note, I want you to enjoy yourselves. Have a great time. Be safe out there. And just do the best you can with what you got, because in the end, that's all that we get. All right. I will see you later. And as always, F Trump. Whew. Damn Epstein files. I'm just saying. All right, y'all. Peace.